October meeting of the Metropolitan Short-Term Rental Appeal Board. And if you've never attended one of these hearings, you picked the right day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the public, and welcome. This is our regularly scheduled meeting of the Metropolitan Short-Term Rentals Appeal Board, taking place at the Sonny West Conference Center in the Howard Office Building at 700 2nd Avenue South here in Nashville. Today is October 27th, 2021, and my name is David Freibut. I'll be presenting the cases to the board for their review in today's public hearing. For these public hearings, the board reviews the correspondence submitted in support and of opposition to these cases. The board also reviews correspondence and recommendations from other government agencies in preparation for the hearings. In today's hearings, staff will present the documents that comprise the case record. In each of the cases today, staff will make a presentation regarding the facts of the case. Then, the appellant will present their case to the board. After the appellant's presentation, if anyone is here wishing to speak in support of the appeal, they may do so. If any opposition is present, the board will then hear from those parties. After the opposition presents its testimony, the appellant will have a period for rebuttal. According to board rules, the appellant has 5 minutes for presentation if no opposition is present. In contested cases, the board rule allows 10 minutes for each side to present testimony. Should the appellant wish to provide rebuttal, the appellant should reserve some portion of the allotted 10 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed and the board will deliberate and vote on the case. All section numbers referenced come from the Metro Code of Law, which applies to the entire jurisdiction of metropolitan government. Board rules require a recording of these proceedings. Because these meetings are recorded for Metro Nashville Network, it is imperative that anyone addressing the board come forward to the podium and speak into the microphone. All speakers should identify themselves by name and address and then make their desired presentation. Please note, push the button on the base of the microphone and a red light will illuminate indicating the microphone is live and you will be heard. Board rules require 4 members of our 7-member board to establish a quorum. It also requires a majority vote of the members present in order to file a motion to prevail. Pursuant board rules, an aggrieved party may appeal board decisions to Chancery or Circuit Court within 60 days of the entry of an order. After that time elapses, the board's decision becomes final and no other action can be taken. Chair Caputo, I submit that these cases have been filed in proper order, all appellants have been notified by mail, and all legal notice requirements have been fulfilled. Absent of any other information, the first case can be considered, case 2021-19. And I'm sorry, I forgot my docket, so I'm not pronouncing the names.
I will call the case. If I could have a quick moment just to do a quick roll call for the record. I'm in attendance, Julie Ryan Caputo, Terrence Bond. Present. I know Phil Cabucci is not with us today. Mr. Ron Hogan. Present. Ms. Whitley Kimmerling. Present. Mike Loico. Present. And Councilman Sean Parker. Present. Great. And just a reminder, you guys, when you want to speak, a single press of the button to open your mic, a single press to close your mic, and that will help us avoid the problems with the system freezing up, okay? If you do mess up despite my very specific instructions, I'm kidding. Just give me the high sign and we can clear it, okay? All right, so first case is case 2021-19, Brian and Julie Castro. Could you please come forward? Terrific. Why don't you just take a seat and we're going to hear from the city first. Thanks so much.
Good afternoon, board. This is Unit A and the facts concerning it. On November the 2nd of 2018, an Airbnb ad was posted. On November the 21st of 2018, a not owner-occupied permit was issued. On November 18th, there was one document of 2018. There was one documented stay. January 31st of 2019, the second Airbnb ad was posted, and on March 12th of 2019, the third Airbnb ad posted. On March 12th of 2019, the first VRBO ad was posted. April 13th of 2019, second and third VRBO ads were posted, and a Booking.com ad was posted. On November the 12th of 2019, the Booking.com ad was removed. On November 21st of 2019, the permit expired. In December of 2019, 2 document stays. January 2020, 3 document stays. March 10th of 2020, notice of violation sent by Administrative Services Officer Campbell Paget from the Codes Department for advertising and operating with an expired permit. The courts were closed due to COVID-19. March 2020, 2 document stays. May 26th of 2020, the ad remained posted, and Campbell Paget made a site visit to post a stop work order and took photographs. On May of 2020, 1 documented stay. June of 2020, 1 documented stay. June the 9th of 2020, continued advertising and operating of a short-term rental property with an expired permit, and a warrant was requested. On June the 17th of 2020, a warrant was issued. On June 25th of 2020, it was returned not served. April 27th of 2020, alias warrant was issued, and on July the 27th of 2021, that warrant was returned not served. On June 8th of 2021, an alias warrant was issued, and that warrant has not been served. On June 28th of 2021, the STR Board Appeal was filed, and on July the 19th of 2021, 3 Airbnb ads were removed, and July 21st of 21, 3 VRBO ads were removed. There were 9 documented stays after the permit expired, 3 of which occurred after the notice of violation was sent, and 1 documented stay after the stop work order was posted. There were no verified complaints for the property at either the Metro Hub nor the host compliance hotline. Unit B, on January 23rd of 2019, a not owner-occupied permit was issued. January 31st of 2019, Airbnb ad posted. March 19th of 2019, VRBO ad posted. On January 23rd of 2020, the permit expired. June 2020, the address appeared on a host compliance list of short-term rental properties advertising and operating without a permit or with an expired permit for follow-up by our staff. On June 23rd of 2020, advertisement remained posted, and I made a site visit to post a stop work order and spoke with the renters that were present at the property. On July the 1st of 2020, I sent a notice of violation to the address on file for the property, which was 119B 30th Avenue South. The violation notice gave the appellants until July the 23rd, 2020, to remove the ads and cease operation. July 23rd of 2020, the ads remains posted, and I requested a warrant from Metro Legal, which was issued. On August the 14th of 2020, the courts were closed due to COVID-19. August 14th of 2020, the warrant was 14th of 2020, the warrant was returned not served. June 28th of 2021, the STR Board Appeal was filed. July the 19th of 2021, the Airbnb ad was removed. July 21st of 2021, the VRBO ad was removed. There were no documented stays after the permit expired. However, on June 23rd, 2020, when I made the site visit to post a stop work order, there were guests present inside the property. When they came to the door, I asked if they were short-term renters, and they indicated that they were. They asked if I was evicting them, to which I replied no. They asked if they should call the owner, and I told them that I would appreciate if they did, but that I was not telling them that they had to do so. I gave them my card and asked them to ask the owner to call me if they did contact them. There were no verified complaints for the property in either the Metro Hub nor on the host compliance hotline.
Very good. Any questions for Metro before we turn this over to the appellant? Okay, very good. If you could be, there you go. Oh, there you go. If you could give us your name and your address, where you live, and tell us the situation.
Sure. Brian Castro. I live in 1750 West 40th Avenue, Denver, Colorado 80211. Should I pass these out?
Sure.
Yep.
I'm going to share this with Mr. Castro and with everyone in attendance today. We are going to be very conscientious of the time limits that are set. Very often we go over, but when we only have one or two cases, it isn't dramatic when we go over by a bit, but we have quite a full agenda today. So we're going to be a little stricter with the times as were described, okay?
Okay.
So thanks for the materials. Could you
Yes.
walk us through the situation?
Yes, absolutely. So first, I want to thank the committee for the allotted time today to hear my appeal. I would like to first off by saying that while there are certainly mistakes made on my part, I'm relatively new to the Nashville short-term rental process, and there was never any attempt to circumvent the regulations, or more specifically, the permitting process. So to begin with, when I first started searching for properties in Nashville, I was diligent about two parts of my search. So one is that the properties themselves were zoned in a way that would allow for a non-owner occupied short-term rental permit. And two, and more importantly, that the properties were located in an area that would not disturb nearby Nashville residents. The townhomes located on 30th Avenue South, a block away from the Vanderbilt University, fit both of the criteria I was looking for, as directly adjacent to the properties is an empty lot and a small office that now appears to be out of business. As soon as the properties were purchased, these were prior short-term rental properties. And I began the permitting process as soon as the deals were closed. And I hired the property manager that had previously managed those properties. So for A and B, there's 3 units, 3 connected townhomes. For A and B, the permits were under her name. For C, this one was the one where I happened to be in town, and this one remains active as I still get the renewal updates and notices to make sure I'm renewing them on time. The 2 that expired in late 2019 and early 2020 were in my previous property manager's name, as I mentioned. I was told at the time they were renewed, and to be quite honest, did not even think to check or to confirm, which is entirely my fault. In early 2020, as the coronavirus began to spread in the first quarter last year, I, like many others, lost almost all bookings for the rest of the calendar year. At that time, my property manager began looking for other jobs and was no longer replying to my messages or answering the phone. I turned my focus to finding long-term renters at that stage and was able to secure 3 separate groups of Vanderbilt students that began moving into the units at the end of May 2020. It wasn't until they began moving in was I made aware that the permits had expired, as the tenants found the notice on the door. That same day, I called the SCR office to clarify, as it was unclear which permit had expired given the unit letter was not provided. I left a message, but did not receive a phone call back. But a few days later, another notice was posted clarifying that it was Unit A. This is when I began searching and found myself that both had expired. In Exhibit 1, you can see my email to my old property manager asking about the expired permit in June of 2020. At this point, to be completely transparent, I took no action as I did not believe any was needed at the time, given I had 3 groups of students who would not be moving out until May 31st of the next year. This includes the listings. This includes deactivating the listings as I had blocked off my short-term rental calendars for the next 12 months, as I would not be able to host any short-term renters. Let me just skip here. In Exhibit 2, you'll find an email I sent to my new property manager after the permit was renewed for C, telling her that we needed to start the process over for A and B, as that was my understanding at the time. In Exhibit 3, I emailed the Codes Department in early May of 21, just to ensure I was following the steps to reapply for a permit correctly and to make sure it was known that I had been renting out my places full-time for the past year. Let's see here. It was at this, so 3 weeks later, this is a June 22nd, we were given the notice about the 12-month suspension and the issues with the STR permit from the Codes Department in Exhibit 4. At this point, I still feel like there was a misunderstanding, and tried to plead my case, as you'll see in Exhibit 5.
Okay, thank you very much for that information. I'm going to open the conversation up to my fellow board members to see what questions they have for you.
Mr. Castro, can you clarify for me the time period when you had the Vanderbilt students in the unit?
Yes, so they started moving in at the end of May 2020 and were there for a full calendar year.
Okay, and then you said at some point you removed the ads in relation to when
no.
the Vanderbilt students were there?
No, I never removed the ads. I didn't understand that I had to do that. I blocked off the calendar, but the ads were never removed.
Okay.
So, Mr. Castro, I am looking at the notice to correct violation that was sent on the 10th of March of 2020, in which you're instructed to remove the ads. So how was there any confusion about that?
That was not sent to my address.
So this is the address that was given to Metro for communication.
Was it Lake and Jarman's address?
It's 119A 30th Avenue.
Okay. Well, so that's at the property.
Yeah.
And obviously, I live in Colorado and couldn't travel at that time.
Right.
And nobody had picked up the mail. It was the students that moved in, so I got no word of those letters.
So, but this was the address that was provided to Metro for your communication. You understand that Metro didn't take
Yeah.
this upon themselves to decide?
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
And that address was provided by my old property manager.
Yeah.
The one I have, the permit 4C, that I submitted for, I put my address on there and have been able to keep up and renewing that permit.
Anyone else have any questions? Sean, please go ahead.
Yes, so you let us know that the Vanderbilt students began living long-term renting in the unit in May, but this timeline that I have in front of me shows a documented stay in June of 2020. Can you explain that discrepancy?
A documented stay in June in which unit?
I believe this is Unit A.
So, sorry, no, I have 3 units. So there were two groups of students that moved in to B and C at the end of June, and I think it was maybe July for A.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Just along that line,
Yeah.
if you look at B and you look at the summary, an actual visit for a stop work order was conducted on June 23rd, and the renters who were present identified themselves to the city as short-term renters, and that was in B. So that couldn't have been long-term renters if they identified themselves as short-term renters, right?
Wait, so that's this year. I think you're talking, sorry.
No,
June
2020.
June 20, okay.
Yeah.
So June 23rd?
June of 2020, June 23rd of 2020. The Metro actually took the time to send someone out to do a stop work order and
Right.
spoke with the renters that were present at the property, and they identified themselves as short-term renters, June 23rd.
Correct, yeah. So that's why I think one
So
of,
maybe they moved in July?
that's what I'm saying. One of the groups might have moved in July.
Okay.
I just don't remember which unit was which. But 2 of the groups moved in June 1st, and then one of them moved in like July 15th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was your property manager in May 2020?
Well, to be honest, I really didn't have one. It was technically still.
So who
like-
got the property ready for the Vanderbilt students to rent?
Well, I just contacted the cleaner that I knew that worked. But they came fully furnished, and so I knew the cleaner's contact information, and she hadn't heard from my property manager either, so she was able to get the units ready. But I had no contact at that point, even though I tried with my previous property manager.
So if you had students that moved in June 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and a stop work order was posted on your door May 26th of 2020, nobody told you about the stop work order on your
No,
door?
that's
Okay.
what I said, yeah, that's where I
Okay.
got that information, and that's why I posted the email of me emailing my old property manager a few weeks later about the permit,
Okay.
because I thought she had renewed it. But at that time, I just wasn't sure what action to take because I just had signed, leases with long-term renters.
I think we're just confused about why there are documented stays showing up, at least one in June of 2020, if you had long-term renters in B at that time.
So I don't think I had long-term renters in B. I'd have to go, to be honest, I don't remember which lease started when. But 2 of them started June 1st and 1 of them started in July, in mid-July.
Okay, I thought you said A was July, B and C were June. The stop work order was posted May 2020, and B, we have documented stay in June 2020, and potentially long-term renters starting in either June or July.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I can circle back. I should have read the leases, but.
Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you so much for your time,
Okay.
Mr. Castro. We're going to close the public hearing and open discussion amongst the board members. Sean?
I'm open to hearing other board members' thoughts, but this is one where I'm going to have a very hard time supporting any motion for reduction. We don't have a good address on file. The notices are not going to the appellant. We have what sounds like a kind of fly-by-wire property manager who is not keeping track of renewals or responding to the out-of-state operator or owner, rather. And just these issues of not being able to get notice to the appellant. I see also we have multiple warrants that were issued and were not able to be served. I have concern about, moving forward with an operator. If we're just going to say, okay, well, it's fine and we'll reduce your penalty, and we can't get them, we can't serve warrants, we can't give them notices of permit expiration. To me, that's very concerning, and so I'm happy to listen to other thoughts, but I'm not likely to support any motion to reduce the one-year wait here.
I'm inclined to agree with you. The record's sort of replete with instances where there was no diligence shown, even after the owner became aware that there was a problem sometime before June. There was no effort to remediate, and in my opinion, there should have been if there was any interest in sort of coming here and getting any sort of relief. So I think it's the prescribed period for me.
I'm going to concur. I think so much diligence was shown in the selection of the property and so much, conscious choice made in the selection of the property, and that diligence was just not carried through. When you look at the resource utilization that has happened on Metro side, I think it's really disturbing. And obviously, there's been a remedy for this owner in that long-term renters are readily available. So I don't have quite the Catholic guilt I normally would have of saying I just am not going to support any relief on this one. Ron?
I have basically nothing to add.
Mike? Whitney, anything?
Nothing to add, I agree.
Okay, so shall we make a motion?
I would move that the board take no action on this case.
Second. Okay. Can I see a show of hands? Okay, it's unanimous. I'm sorry, Mr. Castro, there will be no relief offered. Do we have to decide when the one-year period starts?
My interpretation would be if the board takes no action, it would be up to the administrative interpretation. Does that work for staff?
Yep, this will be in the hands of the administrator, who's apparently deeming it as the last documented stay is when the clock starts. Thanks for coming in, Mr. Castro. Have a great day.
Case 2021-22 is Josine Young. Is there any opposition to this case? There is not. Please take a seat. Once you press the red button, please announce yourself by name and address. You will have 5 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Josiane.
Ms. Young, my apologies. Let's hear from Metro first. I'm sorry, not your fault.
On September the 14th, 2018, an owner-occupied STRP permit was issued. On September the 18th of 2018, Airbnb ad was posted. On November the 10th of 2018, VRBO ad was posted. On August 28th of 2019, the permit was renewed. September 14th of 2020, the permit expired. October of 2020, 4 documented stays. November 2020, 5 documented stays. December 2020, 1 documented stay. March of 2021, 4 documented stays. April of 2021, 4 documented stays. May of 2021, 4 documented stays. June of 2021, 5 documented stays. July of 2021, 7 documented stays. July of 2021, host compliance list of short-term rental properties advertising and operating without a permit or with an expired permit was submitted for follow-up by staff. I sent a notice of violation on July the 15th of 2021. Pardon me. And on August 20th of 2021, there was 1 documented stay. On August the 12th of 2021, I received a call from the appellant, Ms. Young, and she told me that she would comply. On August the 12th of 2021, the Airbnb ad was removed, and on August the 14th of 2021, the VRBO ad was removed, and the case was closed. On August 31st of 2021, the STR Board Appeal was filed. There were 35 documented stays after the permit expired, one of which occurred in August of 2021 after the notice of violation was sent. However, there were no documented stays after the remedial date of 8/13/21. There were no verified complaints for the property in either Metro Hub nor the host compliance hotline.
Okay, are there any questions for Metro before we hear from the appellant? Okay, Ms. Young, please turn on the mic if you would with one, there you go, and state your name and address for the record, and then tell us about your situation.
My name is Josiane Young. The address for the short term is 720 Harding Place, Nashville 37211.
And I'm sorry, ma'am, you said that's the address of the short-term rental. Is that your address?
Yes.
Is that your home? Okay,
Yes.
very good, thank you.
Yes. At the first one, applied for the short term, and after I purchased the property, which is my other house, is across the street from that property where my mom lives, and I had decided to go towards to the short term and applied, and I remember that with the permit had a note, separate piece of paper saying that after 32 booking, I should renew. So 32 booking, I kind of like lost in a record of like how long gonna take me to achieve 32 booking. So the first booking, we kind of like, yoo-hoo, we got, and it keep going, I lost the track. And after I achieved the 32 booking, and I transferred my business to Kentucky Line, which is, I have a separate business, which is nothing to do with the short-term rental.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. You transfer your business to what?
Yeah, I have a different business. The cleaning business, I took to the Kentucky, I transferred.
Okay.
I still live in here, but I operate over there.
Okay.
So pretty much I lost control of how many booking. I mean, successful, and every booking that I had, I come myself, which I have a cleaning business here in Nashville as well, but me personally come to Kentucky and prepare the house for the next guest. And at the same time, when I received the letter from the Metro regarding to the violation of expiration on a permit, and I kind of like, oh, snap. Because at the same time, I did not, actually, I never received a notification of the expiration and what I'm trying to say is I was waiting for the Metro to notify me, and the same token, I should go forward, step forward and find out, and I never did. And then once I received the letter from the Metro that I already violating the permit being expired, I contact my business attorney in Kentucky to verify very closely, okay, what exactly I have to do. So she called and explained. They just say you have to shut down the website, not the website, but the booking, you have to cancel everything. That's when, probably like a week later, I contact Airbnb in person and explain the case that my permit has been expired and we have to remove all the booking out of the site. So they went ahead and contact every single families that the house no longer, will be operating without exactly date. And so the VRBO, I posted a VRBO, but we just have like 2 or 3, booking on that site. I contact them as well, explain, but those sites cannot explain exactly why. So they came forward, some clients came forward and asked why, and I explained to them, and that's it. So I'm here to ask for the second chance because it is a beautiful and wonderful business, to be honest with you. And maybe I have a second chance. And of course, live and learn, be on top of it. When it's time to renew, it's time to renew, and that's it. Just keep it going.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think some of my colleagues are going to have some questions.
Ms. Young, you made a reference to a 35 booking as being sort of the point at which you would need to renew. Where did you get that information? I don't think I was clear on that.
I'm sorry. It came with a note, like a separate piece of paper that after 32 booking, you may renew the permit again. I don't have that paper with me, but it came with documentation. It was kind of highlighted in yellow.
For those of us who are very familiar with short-term rentals, that's brand spanking new information to us.
Right.
If you could provide that, we would love to see it.
I'll
But
try
I
to
think
find.
maybe this was a misunderstanding on your part.
It probably, yeah.
Yeah, because what you did receive was this, right? Short-term rental permit.
Yes, correct.
And in the corner, expiration date. Nothing about number of bookings, right? Very clearly expires, expiration date. 1 year from when you got it. Well, I'm holding it.
Yeah.
Does this look familiar to you? Isn't this
Yes.
what you got?
Yes.
Right. Nothing about number of stays.
Okay.
Right, okay. I mean, do we want to inquire of Metro if there was ever any moment in time where the number of bookings was in any way, shape, or form dependent on when your expiration was?
I can't see that being the case.
No, that was never the case.
Right, and what I wonder is if you may not be misremembering, and that was information that came from one of your host sites saying after a certain number of stays, you can apply for certain host status. That sounds like something that Airbnb might issue to say, hey, if you want to apply to be a super host, you can do so after this many bookings.
It could be, yeah.
Okay.
It's the first time operating stuff like that. It's kind of new on a boat and didn't know how to maneuver, and
Sure.
so.
And I do have one follow-up question. You mentioned that you sought the advice of counsel after you got the notice. Is this the same, was this attorney representing you from the time you got the permit to the time?
No.
Okay. So,
She's just by pretty much the building where I have my office in Kentucky. She's just next door attorney that is a colleague that any kind of question that I may have, and she helped me out. And
Gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
nothing that I get involved in,
Gotcha.
law enforcement, anything now.
And I'd like to just follow up on a couple points you made too. When you were describing the purchase of the house, you said that your mom lives across the street?
When I purchased the house for me. And then my mom's living across the street, yeah. And then when we have, I had intention to live on the house, 720 Harding Place, yes.
I'm so sorry. You had the opportunity, I can't hear you.
When I purchased the house.
Yes, it was for you.
for me,
Yep.
yes. And then my mom lived across the street.
Yes.
And then when I decided, you know what, am I going to rent for a regular family and stay with my mom, just to have a little extra income?
Sure.
And then I got bombed on the other house that I have, which I sold to buy that one for, tenants destroying your home. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to. This when the short-term rentals start surface, everybody start getting. I say, you know what, I'm going to try that side of the road to see how it goes. And that's when I decided to put the house for the short term. And when no guest was in the house, I was staying there. Just not to let, the house empty and stuff like that. But when I had somebody booking the house, I transfer myself to my mom's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even though you transferred your business to Kentucky, you don't rent property or own property in Kentucky?
No, not at all.
Anyone else?
Ms. Young, you renewed the permit one time, correct?
I'm sorry.
You renewed the permit one time, correct?
And actually, I never did, because I never came forward to this address to renew, because to be honest, I got lost on timing to renew. I think I got so much, myself lost on dates or not. It's just, I don't remember.
Well, you have a fairy godmother that renewed for you,
If I did.
apparently.
It might be my CPA, to be honest with you, because they was, included that in text in my renew, but myself didn't know.
I don't, Metro's a generous bunch of people, but I don't think they sent you a renewal without you pursuing it or you paying for it. So somebody renewed. There's a renewal on here. So it was done once, for
Okay.
sure. Okay.
Well, I appreciate whoever did, I think, is my CPA, because it was very on top of it of my paperwork or not, and then to include on a tax when I have to file for.
Any other questions for Ms. Young?
I actually do have one. When did you receive the notice of violation?
I believe a couple months now. Is either was the end of July or the beginning of August. That's the first notification that I received by the Metro
Okay.
regarding to that. That's when I came forward and found out exactly what I was supposed to do.
Okay.
And then that was pretty much like the last minute of my last guesting that was about to arrive that week, and I had let it go, that client, to, explore the time that was visiting Nashville. And after that, even like a week later, I did not, that's when I called Airbnb and say, this is what happened, so they have to find some other house to rent.
Right, and I assume you read the notice of violation?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So after that, after I received that notification, I let it go one client, which is what to do next. So it was too close, like 3 days for them to arrive. I feel sorry to, remove that reservation out of their hands the last minute.
So
But
in the-
after that, I cancel everybody.
Sure. So in the body of the violation, it says, please cease advertising and operating a short-term rental property without a permit prior to August 13th, 2021 to avoid legal action. Are you saying that there was something unclear about that you needed to seek somebody else's advice to understand what that said?
I don't understand the question, I'm sorry.
So there are instructions on the notice of violation that say, please cease advertising and operating a short-term rental property without a permit prior to August 13th, 2021. Are you saying that you didn't understand what that meant?
That is correct. That's when I asked my next door colleague, which is she's attorney, and just to translate that for me. I'm from Brazil, so some like a lot of proper words that.
Sure.
Okay, can you tell me backwards because I don't get it.
Sure.
So pretty much is just a little help
Okay.
to understand. That's when she made a phone call to Metro to find out exactly what was about.
Okay.
That's when they clarified what it was about, is the violation of the short term that I have to take care of.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Ms. Young, is your CPA today the same CPA that you've had for the last few years?
No. I had the CPA here in Nashville for 16 years, 17 years. And then now the CPA that I have in Kentucky, she's the one that handle everything from here and there.
When
So
did
they
you
want-
change CPAs?
Last year,
In 2020?
yes.
Okay. Do you recall when in 2020?
I'm sorry?
Do you recall when in 2020 you changed?
No, I don't, because that's when I report to my CPA here that I'm going to start using my CPA in Kentucky, because they're Monday to Friday and weekends over here. It's easy for me to take care of the business from here, the cleaning business, and over there, because I'm more, if something got on the mail here in Nashville, I won't get in time as I'll be in Kentucky.
And you're in Kentucky Monday through Friday, but you don't own property or rent property
No,
there?
I rent apartments over there.
You rent apartments?
Apartment in Kentucky, yes.
Okay.
I was staying in a hotel, it's been 30 days ago, and then just now I got apartment, yes.
Okay. So this really isn't an owner-occupied unit,
Yes,
right? Which is what your permit was for.
yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
I just wanted to clarify that on August 28th, 2019, a $313 renewal payment was made.
Okay.
Is
Very
there
good.
documentation in Metro's file? Did they have to send an affidavit with the renewal? Or is that, did I misunderstand that? Do we know who renewed it?
Yeah, that was kind of new for me too.
There is a renewal affidavit that goes along with the payment, with the renewal. It does go through a review process in order for it to be, once again, renewed. The information on the affidavit contains the notary information along with the permit holder. It is possible that a different person or entity actually turned the documents in.
But do you have a copy of the affidavit in Metro's file?
My apologies, yes.
Okay, and can you tell me who signed the affidavit?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
It's not easily attainable at this moment in time.
Okay.
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 And I was going to say, for future cases, it might be good to actually have that be part of the file.
Yeah. Nonetheless, that was 2019, so I think we have more pressing, up-to-date information to glean here. Any other questions for Ms. Young before we close the public hearing? Nope, seeing none. Ms. Young, thank you very much. We're going to discuss this amongst ourselves.
Sure.
Thanks for your time.
Of course.
I would like to know who submitted the affidavit, because if it was submitted by her CPA, she changed CPAs in 2020.
Yeah.
If it was just done without her knowing, and then she didn't know when she changed, I think that's pertinent information for me in making my decision.
I think it's interesting information, but much like the last case that we just discussed, I don't feel like we're here to make adjustments for people's vendors. Every person who has violated in one shape or another could come before us and say, oh, it was the responsibility of my property manager, it was the responsibility of my attorney, of my CPA. If it's your permit, it's your responsibility. And I don't want to start trying to litigate the relationships between people and their vendors, operators and their vendors. That's my concern.
I understand. I just, and I'd be curious to know what other people think as well. I just think that, it's a different scenario for me in the sense of she is local and this is the one unit she has, and I'd just like to understand all the facts.
I believe we are getting an exhibit.
So to me, it's pertinent the fact that she signed that affidavit to renew it. I think that does not work in her favor.
Does not.
Anyone else have? Yeah, Sean, please.
I'm still listening to discussion on this one, but I mean, it's, again, I'm going to have trouble with reduction here because we have, essentially almost a full year of very active operation. This is not sort of our, extra bedroom on the weekend operation. This is full-time commercial Airbnb operation patterns here. So, for a full year unpermitted. So again, I'm going to have trouble with a reduction in this case, but.
Now seeing that she signed the affidavit, I agree with you.
Right, yeah, now that there's obviously awareness of the.
Yeah. We've had cases in the past where 8 documented stays after an expiration was considered egregious. This is 35.
Yeah,
I don't think that we can offer any relief here.
Given that, I'd move that we offer no relief and take no action.
Shall we have a motion? Second? Okay, can I see a show of hands? Okay. Ms. Young, we've decided to take no action on your case, which means that your application and its disposition will be left to the administrator. Thanks for coming in today. Have a great day. Okay.
Our next case is 2021-23. Stay Local Nashville is the appellant. H&W Investments LLC is owner. Could you please come to the table? We will hear from staff first, and then after Mr. McBroom's presentation, we will hear from the appellant. Is there any opposition to this case? No opposition present. We will have 5 minutes after Mr. McBroom speaks.
There are 3 units at this address, A, B, and C, all of which are on appeal. There was one website ad on VRBO that was advertising all 3 units. It was posted on July 25th of 2019 and removed on September 12th of 2020. On July 18th of 2019, a non-owner-occupied STRP permit was issued. On July 25th of 2019, 2 Airbnb ads were posted and 1 VRBO ad was posted. August the 3rd of 2019, a Booking.com ad was posted. On May 18th, 2020, the property was cited for permit number not displayed in the website ad, and the ad was corrected. On July the 8th of 2020, the permit was renewed. September 12th of 2020, first VRBO ad was removed. On October the 10th of 2020, the 3rd Airbnb ad was posted. On October 16th of 2020, the 2nd VRBO ad was posted. Also on October 16th of 2020, the Booking.com ad was removed. January 17th of 2021, first 2 Airbnb advertisements were removed. On July the 18th of 2021, the permit expired. In July of 2021, 4 documented stays occurred. Host compliance tracking does not specify if any occurred after 7/18/21, the expiration date. In August of 2021, there was 1 documented stay. On August 25th of 2021, the notice of violation was sent by Inspector John Feltz. On August the 27th of 2021, the 2nd VRBO ad was removed, and on the 28th, the 3rd Airbnb ad was removed. It was subsequently reposted on September the 3rd of 2021 with a 31-night minimum stay, which changes it to a long-term rental. On August 31st of 2021, the STR Board Appeal was filed. There was 1 documented stay after the permit expired, which occurred in August of 2021, after the notice of violation was sent. However, there were no stays after the remedial date of 9/25/21. There were no documented complaints for the property in either the Metro Hub or within the host compliance hotline. Unit B, July 18th again, 2019, not owner-occupied STRP permit issued. July 25th, VRBO ad posted. August the 6th, Airbnb ad was posted. On May 18th of 2020, the property was cited for a permit not displayed, and the website advertisement was corrected. On July the 8th of 2020, the permit was renewed. September the 12th of 2020, the VRBO ad was removed. October the 10th of 2020, the 2nd Airbnb ad was posted. On January the 17th of 2021, the 1st Airbnb ad was removed. On July 18th of 2021, the permit expired. In July of 2021, 4 documented stays. Host compliance tracking again does not specify if any occurred after the expiration date of 7/18/21. August 2021, there were 2 documented stays. Again, on August 25th, 21, the notice of violation was sent by Inspector John Feltz. August 28th of 21, the Airbnb advertisement was removed, again reposted on September the 3rd with a 31-night minimum, moving it to long-term. And on August 31st, 2021, the STR Board Appeal was filed. There were 2 documented stays after the permit expired, which occurred in August of 2021. However, there were none after the remedial date of 9/25/21, and there were no documented complaints again for either the Metro Hub or the host compliance hotline. Unit C, again on July 18th of 2019, a not owner-occupied STRP permit was issued. On July 25th of 2019, VRBO ad was posted and an Airbnb ad was posted. On May 18th of 2020, the property was cited again for a permit not displayed in the website advertisement. Again, the correction was made. On July 8th of 2020, the permit was renewed. September the 12th of 2020, VRBO ad was removed, and on October 10th of 2020, a second Airbnb ad was posted. January 17th of 2021, the first Airbnb ad was removed, and I did not add this to the documentation that I sent to you, but on July 18th of 2021 is when the permit expired. July of 2021, 4 documented stays, and again, host compliance does not track as to whether any occurred after the expiration date. August of 2021, 1 documented stay. August 25th, the notice of violation sent, again by Inspector John Feltz. August 28th, the Airbnb advertisement was removed and reposted on September 3rd with a 31-night minimum. 1 documented stay after the permit expired, which occurred in August of 2021. And however, there were none after the remedial date of 9/25/21. There were no documented complaints again in either Metro Hub or host compliance hotline.
Very good. Any questions for Metro before we hear from the appellants? I actually have a quick question, just on a point of order. The 5 minutes is to be split between the appellants, is it not? Very good. Okay. Thank you.
Perfect.
If you could give us your name and your address where you live for the record, and also you heard that caution that the 5 minutes to present.
I'm the
your-
only one. Yeah,
Perfect.
so we're good.
Very good.
Thank you, though.
All right, the
Appreciate
floor is
warning.
yours then.
I'm Darby Bolton. I personally live at 1707 Tammany Drive, Nashville, Tennessee, 37206. I'm one of the co-founders of Stay Local Nashville, a local management company here that specializes in short-term rentals. Before getting started, I would like to thank you guys in advance for your time today. We greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to let us speak regarding this appeal. I understand that my job here today is to prove why the board is wrong and why I am right about this appeal. However, I want to make it clear that we fully understand that we are in the wrong. We, as a company, have renewed hundreds of short-term rental permits since ordinances have rolled out starting in 2015. Unfortunately, and due to a simple human error mistake by this attractive gentleman to my right, we failed to track and renew these 3 permits for these non-owner occupied permits on Pearl Street. Somehow, for the first time in 6.5 years, these homes did not stay on our radar for renewal and the permits have expired. Since we were unaware that they were needing renewal, we continued to leave the listings up online and hosted stays as normal, all while not realizing that we were in violation of the STR laws. The minute we found out that we were in violation from Metro Nashville, all listings were immediately removed from online and all guest stays were immediately canceled. We have not hosted a short-term rental stay at these properties since. Today, while I don't expect this to happen, we are actually here to ask the board for an exception to this violation. We made a simple mistake by forgetting to renew these permits and would like to request that we be allowed to renew these permits within the next 7 days in order to remain compliant moving forward. Thank you guys again for your time and consideration.
Thank you for your brevity. We appreciate it.
Honesty is the best policy. Yeah.
I imagine folks have questions. I know my first question, I'm very familiar with the name Stay Local. Could you tell me how many properties you manage?
Yes, we currently manage 100 properties, give or take 3 or 4 in the Davidson County area.
Any questions from my colleagues? All right, I'll have a follow-up. So you have a lot of properties to manage, you have a lot of dates to watch. How is it that you keep track of these things, and how did you drop the ball on this one?
100%, yes. So the interesting long history that I actually haven't even heard about with these properties is that we actually took over these properties from a prior manager last September of 2020. So they actually came to us with permits already in hand. Normally, his job is to actually go through the permitting process. He takes care of everything from start to finish. And part of that process is to then put it on our renewal tracking spreadsheet, and he renews them every single month, on time, every time. This is literally the first time we've ever missed missed one. The simple fact that they have actually come to us with permits already in hand, we simply made a simple mistake and forgot to put them on this tracking spreadsheet. That's it.
And how bad was the beating? I'm teasing, obviously.
There were lots of tears,
Yeah.
let's put it that way. I was fine.
Right.
It's human error.
I don't know. Anyone else have any questions?
I don't.
No? Not a one? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Thank you for your time and your frankness, and we will discuss amongst ourselves. What do you think?
I mean, in terms of what we've seen since we started hearing these cases, this is fairly de minimis to me. So I think, yes, I think some relief is appropriate here.
Yeah, I would echo that. I mean, we have specifically that no stays after the remedial date for all 3 units. I mean, I think that shows that not only was this a genuine error, but that the appellants were responsive to Metro's communications and to their responsibilities as property managers. So I'm certainly open to some relief in this case.
Yeah. Agreed. And it actually is the most logical explanation we've ever heard for any renewal date being missed. And I could see where that confusion comes into play when you take over an existing property and the date just isn't, it wasn't something you were involved in the first place, therefore it doesn't have the same, it doesn't fall onto the right spreadsheet. What do you guys think?
Yes, I'm in agreement.
Ron?
No, I agree. I think relief should be given.
Okay. What sounds reasonable to you?
Oh, let's see.
I can say that, the appellant requested 7 days from now. I think that might be a little too generous. But I think there's probably a good thing we can arrive at. I'm kind of open to what other folks think.
I was thinking 30 to 60 days.
I didn't have, how many?
Oh, the appellant had asked for 7, which I think that was just to lighten the mood. And then the suggestion has been made from our learned colleagues, 30 to 60 days. I would lean more towards 60 just to,
I agree.
be stricter.
I think 30 is too short.
Okay.
Yeah. 30 is barely time for anybody to put the paperwork in motion
And
anyway.
as we discuss, I want to make sure, are we talking about which date are we talking about from today? 30 to 60 days from today, or from, violation notice or last stay?
Right.
I think that we just...
Yeah, because if it's last day, then
Right.
we're through that period already.
I would say 60 days from,
today, maybe we can make the motion for today.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think it has to be 60 days from today's
And that
date.
would be a considerable amount of relief, although not as generous as the appellant
Right.
sought.
Right.
Second?
Second? So we have a motion, and it's been seconded.
Motion
So-
is, can I clarify, the motion is
Yep.
that the appellant would be eligible to apply for a permit 60 days from today.
And also to clarify, will be eligible to apply for a permit 60 days from today for all 3 units.
Units A, B, and C.
Yeah. Is everyone in agreement? Can I see a show of hands? Okay. The ayes have it. Very good. So you understand the decision? Very good. Thanks for coming in. You guys have a great day.
Chair Caputo, I've been talking with legal counsel in the first 2 cases that you all heard. Your motions, if I understand them, were to take no action on those. We
Yes.
believe that's, you all have to take some action. And let me explain kind of why for the record. The default position is the zoning code spells out for me as zoning administrator. It's a 1-year delay. So for the board, and their appeal coming today is for relief from that 1 year from my decision to enforce the code as written. So I think, and in talking with Ashley, that no action leaves the appellant in limbo. So
Okay.
if the, and it seemed to be the intent of the first 2 cases to uphold my 1-year ban, I would say your motions need to be reflected on the record today, basically redone to deny the appellant's application. So I've got a formal denial that could set forth a process for them to appeal. I think no action leaves them sort of in legal limbo
Okay.
of being able to appeal to Chancery if they want.
Do we need to rescind previous action?
I think you can do that by voice vote. We just need to go back through the first two cases and the same, for the record, the same motion and second, but I think the motion needs to be to deny the appellant's application.
Okay.
Is there any problem doing that without those appellants from those two cases present?
You all, I don't believe so. I think the problem is if we walk out this office, this meeting today and try to reset a hearing, but I think since we're in the action, the appellants know they've been denied. The effect is the same. We just need to make sure that we've got that denial.
And the public hearings were
Okay.
closed in each case.
Sorry?
The public hearings were closed in each case.
Yes. So you think we're good, Joey, just to,
From that end, I
Take-
just need to clarify the orders.
okay.
We can handle those.
Okay.
So for the record, this is case number 2021-019, Brian and Julie Castro. The motion is to deny their request for relief. Is that sufficient? Okay.
Do we also need to rescind the previous vote and/or motion within that?
Let's rescind it by voice vote just to be safe, if y'all
Okay.
would.
All of those in favor of rescinding the previous vote on case 2021-019, say aye. Aye. Okay. A motion is before us now to, in the same case, deny their request for relief. Voice vote again? Sufficient?
Well, we have
Okay.
to move it. We need a
Can-
second though first.
Oh, yeah. Do I have a second?
Yes, second.
And can I have a voice vote on this motion? All of those in agreement that we will deny relief, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now a motion to rescind the decision to take no action on Mrs. Young's case, which is 2021-022.
So moved.
Okay?
Seconded.
Can I have a voice vote? All those in favor of rescinding that decision, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. And now a second motion to deny Mrs. Young, or Ms. Young, her requested relief. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. So our motion here is to deny her request. Can I have a voice vote of aye if you agree?
And can we just get the case number in there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Case number again is 2021-022, the case of Josanne Young.
Thank you.
Her request for relief, we are voting to deny her request for relief. Can I have a second?
Second.
And can I have a voice vote aye if you agree?
Aye.
Okay? Thank you, Chair. The reason I asked that, I apologize for that, it could lead one to believe that those two items are still on our agenda because you took no action. So, I think the intent of the board was to deny their request from the one-year relief. I think we just need to get that, if that's the board's wishes in any case, just deny it and we'll enter appropriate order.
That makes sense.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you
Appreciate
for the
that.
guidance. Okay, and is this our final case, second to last?
Second from the last case
Second to
was
last.
withdrawn.
Yeah, David, if I could, just real quick, case 24 was filed by Mr. Gallagher appealing my interpretation regarding an SP zone district. After talking with legal, the proper jurisdiction for that is the Board of Zoning Appeals, not this board, since his appeal is whether the SP zoning permits short-term rental. That's a zoning issue, not a Chapter 6 issue. So
Got it.
we've sent that to the BZA and it will be heard
Okay,
soon.
so we are on the last case.
Okay, our next case and final case for the day is 2021-025. Sarah Bucksbaum, is she present? Or any representative? It appears that the appellant is not present.
Interesting.
I believe at this moment in time, the board has an option to delay or move it to the next docket if they so choose.
Councilman Parker would like to weigh in.
Is there an option, I see a lot of my neighbors, East Nashville neighbors here have come out to speak on this case. Is there an option to open the public hearing to hear from these folks and then, so that they're not asked to come back here if we continue the case?
I'm not sure that we could do it that way, if we could have a moment to confer.
Have you read the materials?
Chair Caputo, can we take a brief recess? Let me look at your rules of procedure, because it's important we do this properly.
Absolutely. We're going to have a brief
Thank you.
recess while we discuss this, this matter of the public hearing with only opposition. We stand in recess. Very good. Okay, well, thank you. And personally, I would like to apologize for your afternoon being spent waiting on a case that didn't come to fruition. And I hope even just a representative sample of you will be able to come back when the case is rescheduled.
Yep.
Because we're very grateful for your time. We're well aware that this has been the majority of your day sacrificed for this. So our thanks and our apologies.
And Chair Caputo, before you go, the board's rules also state further, in the event the appellant fails to appear before the board a second time, the application shall be dismissed for lack of prosecution, and then they'll have to wait. I know, I understand the council members, hey, they're here, let's get them on the record. It would kind of violate the applicant's due process to let them
Sure.
testify without them being present.
So let me just, can I just confirm that this appellant who failed to show up today, if she shows up at the next meeting, we hear her case?
Yes.
And will we automatically put it on the docket for the next round, or the agenda rather for the next round?
It is this, sorry, on that man here. This case is automatically on the next agenda for December's meeting.
December 8th.
I apologize, yes. Yes, it is December. We don't have a November meeting. The filing date of that time follows the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so we would not have a quorum. So it'll be December the 8th.
Yeah.
And
And,
it'll be published on our agenda, that case.
And out of respect for our neighbors here, can we assign that to be the first case to be heard?
Absolutely.
And if any of them are unable to attend in person, they can always submit a written
Yeah.
assessment, if you will,
Yeah,
for our
absolutely.
consideration.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What's the best way to submit? Is it an email to STR board, or how do we submit it?
That's the email.
Will it be read out loud?
They'll be made a part of our record, and we'll have a chance to review them.
I don't believe that there's time sufficient to read each and every one.
Correct.
Especially if there will be some in attendance who wish to speak in opposition. So there won't be, so those who speak in opposition will probably utilize the time that's set aside. But as you see, we're provided a lot of documentation, and we will always get those letters in advance of the meeting. So they will certainly be read. I can guarantee you that.
Yes.
I'm just curious, what's the logic for this rule? I mean, I'm a pretty logical guy. It makes no sense. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'll be happy to talk with you.
Is the meeting at 1 p.m. is always at 1 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
This location.
Yeah.
Can you review again what happens if she doesn't show up?
It'll be dismissed for failure to prosecute, and you know, obviously her permit application is denied. Sorry.
Just one more procedural thing.
And I'll tell you, if we could, to save the board's time, we're staff, I'm happy to talk to you about procedure. Let's let the board dismiss and adjourn, and I'll be happy to talk procedure with you guys for as long as you want.
Okay, so members of the board, this concludes the hearing for today's docket. Next scheduled board meeting is December 8th, 2021. This concludes all the business of the board. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Meeting is dismissed.
All righty.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov